Hi there, it's Heidi, and today I have a little yin wall practice for you to try. Yin is a slower practice. Its principles are to take time in poses, to hold for periods that are a little bit longer than normal, to be quiet, trying not to move, and to find that meditative feeling. So when you practice yin, you want to be at that comfortable edge of, yes, I'm feeling this and there's some discomfort, but not to the place where, ow, I'm in pain. So we call it the Goldilocks spot, somewhere in between those two places. I chose a wall practice because it doesn't require props. You can do it without props, although if you have a few things available, it'll make it just a little bit better. So maybe on your guest room bed you have a pillow that looks similar to this. This is actually a pranayama bolster, but you can find something similar, or roll a blanket up into a burrito roll, which would be like this, kind of fat. And then the other option would be, if you have a couple straps, which I'm sure most of you do not, you could tie them together for one pose, loop them together. This is my husband Kent. He's going to be my model today for some wall yoga. First pose we're going to take is legs up the wall. So Kent's going to go over and place one of his sides against the wall. Get as close as you can, and then he'll send his legs up the wall and scoot his tushy in as far as he can. So the best way to be as close to the wall as you can, but don't worry if you're not right up against it. I'm sliding that bolster underneath his hips and a blanket under his head. He's going to let his hands rest wherever they're comfortable. Right now he's got them on his belly. They could also be by your side with your arms, palms up. You could have one on chest and one on belly. You're going to be holding here for a few moments. I'm going to be reading to you a little quote from the Daily Om by Madison Taylor. So close your eyes, start to focus in on your breath, and just let your mind listen to my words. Thoughts of concern when worry becomes prayer. If prayer is an intention that we announce to the universe in order to create a desired outcome, then our every thought is a prayer. This includes those of worry as well as of hope. All are subtle, creative energy. Some thoughts are more focused or repeated more often, gathering strength. Some are written down or spoken, giving them even greater power. Every one that we have is part of a process whereby we co-create our experience, our reality with the universe. When we use our creative energy unconsciously, we invoke what is commonly known as self-fulfilling prophecy. In essence, when we worry, we are repeatedly praying and sending out energy to the creation of something we do not want. The good news is that we can retrain our minds and thoughts to focus our energy on what we do desire to bring more into our life. Since most worry is repetitive, it'll take more than one positive thought to counteract the force we have created. The simplest antidote to anxiety is affirmations. When we hold these uplifting thoughts, repeating them often, speaking them, writing them, and referring to them throughout our day, we are using focused energy to manifest positive results. We can start right away together. So I want you to repeat these lines in your head as I recite them. I am a creative being using my energy to co-create a wonderful world. I know that I can create my experience of life from within, and as I do so, I send forth ripples of energy around me that echo into the world. My positive thoughts gather with thoughts and prayers of others, and together we create enough positive energy not only to heal our own lives, but also the earth we share. I'm grateful for the ability to co-create good in my life and on the planet. A lot of times we have concerned loved ones who worry about us. When this occurs, they are also sending out a worry of prayer to the world. A long conversation, letting them know what is happening, is the easiest solution. Also, ask them to send you positive affirmations rather than fretting about you. After all, worry does not do them any good either. Explain to them that it can actually be energetically harmful to you, and that wishing good things for you is the most beneficial for you, and so much more fun too. All right, time to hit our next pose. So I'm going to have Kent bend his knees, and he's going to move into butterfly pose. Soles of the feet are going to come together, knees are going to come wide, and then he has the option of bending his arms and placing his hands underneath his thighs to help to release some of the stress that he might be feeling in his groin. This is actually to help the low back, the groin, and the inner thighs release. It's a nice pose to relax into. What you want to try not to do is grip. The idea is to find that place that you can let go so that the natural gravity force helps to release the tight spots in your body. We're going to hold here for a few more minutes. So go ahead and think of a positive thought that you can bring into your practice. Maybe it's something like, I am open to release. Repeating that in your mind. Listening to the birds in my yard. I am open to release. Noticing your breath. Could you make it a little bit longer on the inhale and even longer on the exhale? Try taking 6 more really full breaths in and out. Maybe putting a little count to them. Try maybe 6 to 8 on the inhale, and then match that number on the exhale. Two more of those breaths. And then very slowly begin to slide your legs back up the wall. Once they're there, give them a little shake, maybe bending and straightening. Perfect. Our next pose we're moving into is squat. You're going to widen your feet. It's kind of like malasana on the wall. So you're going to widen your feet, turn your toes out, coming into a squat on the wall where your feet are pressing onto the wall. Now that's, there you go. Now go wider. Nope, bend the knees more. Squat, there you go. So you want to try to find that comfort in ease, and for me, I like my feet turned out a little bit more. See how that feels for you, Kent. And you got one foot a little bit higher than the other. Good. And then let your knees drop out. Perfect. How does that feel?
Good.
Good. And then again, you can take those hands and place them under your thighs if you want a little support there. This is a great one as well. It doesn't have to be with hips on the floor. So if you don't have a bolster underneath you and your back is coming off the floor, that's okay. If it doesn't feel good, then I would grab something and put it underneath there to support you. It's a great one to go, again, open up those hips. You get some of that back of your thigh, the hamstrings loosened up. It's good for the joints of the knee. And just let yourself find the comfort and ease in the pose. Sometimes it's very hard to not move for an extended period of time. That's the challenge of the pose and of yin, trying to be as still as you can so that you can release some of that fascia that gets stuck. We're not really going to change the structure of your joints, but we're going to help to loosen up the fascia so your joints can move a little more freely. If you know much about fascia, then that might make a little bit of sense. It's a fluid-based system, so it gets stuck and dehydrated, and by holding in long periods like this where you're stretching that tissue, you help to rehydrate it and bring some energy into those areas. Sometimes when we're in those longer holds, we start to get a little bit restless and we have some discomfort, but that's actually when it's working, when you can still be still, even though you're feeling discomfort and anxiety, actually. So it helps to release some of those things in our day-to-day life. If we can hold a pose that's not very comfortable for, 3 to 5 minutes, then we can get through life too. I'm going to have you take 6 more of those long breaths, just like you did before, taking in that same count you used. You should be halfway through those 6 breaths now. Last full breath in and out. And then use your hands to bring your knees together. Slide those legs back up the wall. Give them another little shake, shake. And we're going to move into straddle pose. So this is the one that if you have some kind of straps or ties available, it makes it nice. I've already preset the width of this strap for Kent, so we're a little bit ahead of you. But if you do this at home, you can pause the video and get this ready. I'm going to bring it around the sole of his foot, and then he's going to widen his legs, and we'll take it around the other one. So what I want him to feel is support, but I want him to still feel the stretch. How's that feel, babe?
Fine.
Good. We're going to hold here for about 3 minutes. If you have an iWatch, they have a timer on them, so that's kind of a nice little feature that you can use. And they have one for 3, 5, and 1, 3, and 5, which are great in lengths of time to hold. Start to draw your energy to the place that you feel some tension. Maybe it's a little stressful in an area. I want you to bring your awareness there. And then I want you to take an inhale breath, and as you exhale, invite that breath to go into that place. It's not as though the breath is actually going there, but you're going to bring some prana in there, which is your life force energy. And hopefully with that mindset of bringing that energy in there, you'll feel a little bit less discomfort and more ease. If you didn't have a strap and are feeling a little bit of too much tension, then I would suggest bringing your feet in just a tiny bit closer so that you can release but still feel a little bit of that edge. You're about halfway through. I am a creative being using my energy to co-create a wonderful world. I know that I create my experience of life from within, and as I do so, I send forth ripples of energy around me that echo into the world. My positive thoughts gather with the thoughts and the prayers of others, and together we create enough positive energy not only to heal our own lives, but also to heal the earth we share. I am grateful for the ability to co-create good in my life and on the planet. Take about 3 more long breaths in and out. And then I'm going to remove the strap from around his legs. He's going to slide his legs slowly together. Maybe bend his knees again. Give it a little shaking out. And then the final pose that we'll be taking on each side is wall swan, or also known as pigeon pose. What I'm going to have Kent do is cross his right foot over the left thigh. He's going to flex his foot because you want to protect that knee. And then he's going to use his right hand to push his knee away and back. Keep your legs straight for the beginning. So just use your hand and give it a little press away and bring it back. And then press it away and bring it back. Just kind of warming up and bringing some synovial fluid into that hip area. And then with the right foot remaining flexed, he's going to start to slide his left foot down and leave his knee in that place. So we're going to take two places in this pose. So the first place you're going to hold for about a minute, and then we'll deepen for another 2 minutes. Here we go. You can keep that hand on your knee if you like. It kind of gives it a resting point. And then I want you to think about the hips and your hip flexors, because that's where we're releasing in this pose. So invite the prana energy there. I got birds harmonizing in the background. This is a great pose to do at the end of the day if you've been working and sitting a long time. Also, the legs up the wall after an airplane ride, which nobody's going on right now, but in the future. All right, I'm going to have you slide your foot down just a little bit more so that you can get a little deeper edge here. Remember, you want to get to that place that you're feeling it, but it's not painful. It's just that kind of discomfort. This is actually one of my favorite variations of pigeon or swan pose, because it's one that you can really get a little deeper into your hips without putting a lot of stress on them. Your full body weight isn't on top, but you can adjust how deep you want to go by simply sliding that foot up and down the wall. And it can be done basically anywhere, you can, and pretty much even your office has some wall space, right? one more minute. It might seem like an eternity when you're sitting there doing nothing, but this is the practice. The practice is doing nothing. Last 30 seconds, you got this. Go ahead and release those legs wide back into your malasana or squat pose, and then windshield wiper your knees from side to side. See how that feels? So feet wide. Good. And then we'll extend them back up the wall. And we're going to do the opposite leg. So starting by placing the left foot on the right leg, he's going to take his hand and open up the knee, pushing it forward and back. Again, that just helps to bring the synovial fluid into that area, making it a little more softer and squishier. All right, push your knee back and then slide your right foot down. Make sure your left foot is flexed. Good. Remember, we're going to take two edges here. So this first edge is 1 minute. And you might notice from side to side that one hip is a little bit more open than the other, and it's normal. Pretty much everybody has one side that's just a little bit tighter. The left side of your body is relationship with self side and yogic philosophy. So I always like to think about things that I could say kindly to myself when I'm doing things that are on the left, like pigeon pose or swan pose. We're getting ready to slide that foot down. So when you're ready, take that right foot, slide it a little bit deeper. Coming into the pose a little bit more. Feeling that hip and hip flexor get a little bit more opened up. And then inviting the breath into those places. I was thinking about what the Madison Taylor said about people sending off energy and it affecting you. And what Ken does for a living, he's a financial advisor, so his job is to calm people down about the stock market. But he does say that sometimes that energy comes into him, the one that he's receiving from his clients as he calms them down. So this is a perfect practice for him to get centered again. It's a great practice for anybody, but especially during these crazy times that we're going through. Just got 1 more minute here. You get all the sounds of my yoga studio. Airplanes, birds, probably a trash truck will come by, neighbors. For your Shavasana, you're going to release that leg very slowly, letting the right foot slide up the wall, and then bringing the left foot up to meet it for legs up the wall. Take your arms by your side, let your palms rest up, and you can stay here as long as you like. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.